Okay, the road to tech sales, managing expectations and navigating the journey. Look, today's presentation is really going to be short. I really just want to set the right expectations about how long this is going to take and the necessary output that is required to even be in the game. Because I get a lot of messages where on Twitter about, you know, hey, what's going on? Why am I not getting any responses? Why am I not getting interviews? And when I ask clarifying questions about, okay, well, how many applications have you done? Or how long have you been going at it? I am always disappointed. There is a minimum output required to even get on the radar. And if you're not doing it, you're setting yourself up to fail. And I want to be really transparent about what's going to be required here before you get into it and how long you're going to require to put up this effort before you get an offer. So let's get right into it. So, minimum output required. Uh, the biggest problem, again, as I mentioned, is people not putting enough output. What There's like a really insidious mindset, a really insidious approach that people take to job hunting and job applications. It's crazy. Uh, if it, so, I really want to share this because if you're doing this, you're setting yourself up to fail. So, what people do, I don't know why this is, but they will put in a job application, maybe two, with their top picks, and they will wait. And that's it. That's what they do. They will put in a job application with their, top pick, their top company, and they'll wait for a callback. And that callback never comes. If you do this, you need to stop. You you have to understand these companies get tons of applications. When there is a good job offer out there, you best believe there's going to be a lot of fish going for the bait. And so if you are just putting your chips in one basket, or what is it? All your eggs in one basket, you're going to fail. Just point blank, period. So, what you need to do at minimum is you need to be putting in dozens of applications per week. These applications really don't take that much time. I'll walk you through the process about how you can cut the line and get the attention of these hiring managers. I'm going to teach you how to optimize your resume so that you do get maximum amount of callbacks. But even then, no resume, no candidate is bulletproof. There is no candidate that has a 100% conversion rate. It's like going on a dating app like Tinder or Bumble or Hinge, whatever dating app is popular these days, and swiping right once and thinking that you're going to land that one date. You're not. You likely have to swipe right dozens and dozens of times before you finally get a match. And then, even then, when you get that match, you usually have to talk to multiple people before it finally actually leads to a date. And if you're looking for a serious relationship, you usually have to have multiple dates before you finally meet that person who you're like, oh, okay, I think this can actually go somewhere. I think this person actually is my person. The job hunting process is the exact same way. You have to get enough shots in to actually even get in the game. Think about Stephen Curry, the basketball player, the number one basketball player number one 3-point shooter in the league right now. That guy takes an incredible amount of shots to even get some numbers on the board. Job hunting is very much the same way. If you're only putting in one application and thinking that that application is going to get you the callback, man, you are living in the wrong reality. At minimum, you need to be putting in about 20 applications every 1 or 2 weeks. And from those 20 applications, you should expect somewhere around 3 to 5 interviews per batch. And then you want to repeat this every 2 weeks or so. And you should expect to do 3 to 5 batches before you finally get an offer. So in total, you're doing, let's say, a batch every 2 weeks of 20 applications. You're getting 2, 3, 4 interviews from those applications. You're going through the stages with those companies, and you're doing this every 2 weeks. So by the end, you're usually at this for 2, maybe 3 months. And of course, this minimum output is required because there's high competition. You're not the only candidate putting in this application. You're usually in in competing with dozens of others. Market conditions can also impact this. At the time of this video, it's actually a highly competitive uh, market condition right now because there is a tech recession, meaning that tech companies are not hiring as aggressively right now. And so this makes the competition a lot more fierce, which means that you actually have to put in a lot more work than you usually would during a good economic condition. And so high competition, market conditions, and your resume conversion rates require you to shoot your shot over and over again to even get some interviews. That's just the nature of the game. That's just what it is. So if you're not meeting these minimum output requirements, you're just not going to get anywhere. And again, no resume or candidate has a 100% conversion rate. And so to succeed, you need to have a high output. Now, in terms of process timeline and how long it takes to get an offer, how long should you expect to be in this journey? How long should you expect to really complete this program and secure the offer? The fastest I've seen is 37 days. And that's, that's really fast. Even by my standards, I've been in the tech industry for almost 10 years now. It typically takes me about 60 days from application stage to offer stage. And and the reason why this takes so long, or I don't even want to say so long, because really that's a short period of time to get a good offer. In the grand scheme of things, for you, if you're going to be making a buttload of money in this, and realistically, you're gonna get a job with a company that is high paying, great work environment. They're going to coach you, develop you. To get a good offer, it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't just land on your lap. And so there's a few other things that impact the timeline as well, such as scheduling conflicts, homework assignments, and recruiting teams moving at their own pace. So, what does this all mean? When you're having scheduling these interviews with, like, let's say the sales managers or even the executives that are going to be interviewing you at these companies, these folks are busy too. They have their full workload on top of what they have to do to fill these roles. And so what that means is they have limited amount of space, limited amount of time, and they're also interviewing several folks. So, this is all going to impact the way that the pace at which you move to get an offer. Furthermore, they're going to be giving you certain homework assignments, or you're going to want to do your research ahead of time. And as a result of this, you're going to want to schedule the next interview a few days out so that you can give yourself some breathing time to prepare and come into the interview, well researched or well prepared. And so this all takes time. And so it's really pretty impossible to get an offer within a matter of a few weeks. You should expect for this to take, on average, somewhere around 3 months or 90 days. give or take. Sometimes this takes even a little bit longer, but on average, that 90-day mark is the sweet spot. And so do not rush it and do not take it personally if it moves a little bit slow. This is very natural. 90 days is really healthy. And lastly, I really just want to conclude by saying that if you really are not meeting the minimum output requirements, I don't even want to hear from you. I don't want to hear any bickering, no complaining. Now, if you're putting in the work, if you're in the game, you're in the arena, you're getting rejected, you're having interviews, but they're not going well, come to me, post comments, engage in the community. At that point, yes, your complaints and criticisms are valid. Let's hear about what challenges you're having so we can overcome them. But again, if you're not meeting the minimum output requirements, I don't even want to hear from you. You're not even playing the game. And if it makes you feel better, even the top performers take a while to find their next role. I'll walk you through this in the course as we go along. But to actually find a good company, find a great paying role, find a company that is going to treat you right, it all takes time. And rookies and experts alike all experience this same journey. So if you're listening to this and you're breaking into the tech industry, this is your first take at it, you're new to this, guess what? The folks that are going through this course who come from the tech industry, like myself, we also go through this same journey. We're all going through it. I just want you to have proper expectations of what it's actually going to take to succeed. And lastly, and I'll go into this more later in the course, but you have to make the necessary mistakes. It takes a while, a few practice interviews, a few rejections to finally get into your groove and actually get an offer. And so that's all a very natural part of this. So that said, I just want to conclude here by saying expect for this to take on average somewhere around 90 days. And if you're not meeting the minimum output requirements, step it up and meet those minimum output requirements.